Before I get started, I have a quick question for all of you. Does anybody have any idea who these two are supposed to be? Just shout. By the way, if you have any questions or whatever, you are free to just shout or critique or things. Anyone got a clue? Frodo, yes! Oh, you have to say, well, Frodo and Sam. Though I rewatched the movies recently, and Sam is not as blonde, but you know. In my mind, he was always super blonde for some reason. Yeah, so those Frodo, Sam. Do people like Lord of the Rings here, by any chance? Okay, great. Well, if you like Lord of the Rings, then you're definitely in the correct room. My name is Alexander Chatzizacharias. It's a little bit of a tricky last name, I guess. That's because I'm half Greek and half Dutch. I'm coming all the way from the Netherlands now. I have a couple of hobbies. I like bouldering. I have a way too expensive Magic the Gathering collection. I don't know if Magic the Gathering is really a thing here in Romania or not. And I play a lot of video games. I play a lot of video games. Any other gamers sitting here? A couple, okay, great. I work at a small company called J-Driven in the Netherlands. Very fun. And I'm a Java backend. Well, I say Java GVM, but I mostly do Kotlin. I don't know, how is Kotlin in Romania? Do people use it or, yeah? So pretty cool, right? So yeah, that's me. I'm going to be talking a little bit about AI. I have to say, I arrived yesterday here in Bucharest, and on the way from the airport, I saw a lot of billboards, and I kept seeing AI in the billboards, AI, AI, AI. I was like, whoa, they really are far here in Romania with AI. But then I learned that it means you have or you are, something like that. I was like, oh, oh, but still. My last name is a little bit tricky to pronounce. I asked an LLM, or ChatGPT in this case, if it can pronounce it, and it's pretty accurate, right? Chatzizacharias, that's about how it is. But it's kind of interesting that if you say, hello, my AI overlord, it will faithfully say, hello, my loyal human. A little bit dangerous, maybe, I don't know. So, like 2 years ago, it was what I like to call D-Day. D-Day was when OpenAI released ChatGPT to the public, right? That is what I consider D-Day when it comes to AI. People started flocking to ChatGPT, try it out, and were like, what is happening here? How is this even possible? And back then, as a developer, I was like, okay, if they can do it, then I can do it as well, probably. So I dug a little bit into AI, how it works, and if I can make it myself. And I started my journey with vector databases. Anybody knows what vector databases are? A couple of you. Anybody that uses vector databases at their job? Oh, not that many, I think. Typically, that is the whole trend with AI. Not a lot of people use it in the day-to-day job. And then I went, after vector database, I started looking into RAG, retrieval augmented generation. Anybody that knows already what RAG is, by any chance? Okay, a couple. And basically, I want to show you my journey into understanding RAG, how it works, what you can do with it, and hopefully inspire you to maybe, do use it in your day-to-day work. So we are going to be talking about RAG, retrieval augmented generation. We are not talking about these kind of RAGs. That is a little bit boring. We are talking about, well, if you Google RAG, this is a little bit what you'll be seeing left and right? Maybe a little bit of complex diagrams, arrows going left and right, things like that. Not super inviting, I would say. But that is what you'll see when you Google RAG. So RAG stands for retrieval augmented generation, and if I put it as simply as possible, I think it is a technique or a design pattern that allows you to make LLM responses better by injecting your own data in the prompt. So basically, you have an in-between layer between the user query and your large language model, and based on the user query, you collect all kinds of data from any data sources you have in your backends, and you inject them in the prompt, and then you send that to the large language model, and then you get, well, a better response. And why was this necessary? Well, because large language models have a knowledge cutoff, and large language models do not know your context. They don't know the context of your applications, of your systems, and stuff like that. So you need to inject that context into them, basically. I have a little bit of gripe with the name, though. RAG. It doesn't really sound very nice, if you ask me. It was first coined in this paper, Retrieval Augmented Generation for Knowledge-Intensive NLP Tasks. And the writer of the paper agrees, thankfully. He said, we definitely would have put more thought into the name had we known our work would have become so widespread. And we always plan to have a nicer sounding name, like Cyborg X Generation or whatever, would have been cooler. But when it came to writing the paper, no, I had a better idea. And if this doesn't summarize the software engineering industry, I don't know what does. But yeah, so the name is a little bit meh, but you know, we have to live with it nowadays. And the industry grabbed RAG and just went with it. Just everybody and anybody started creating their own types of RAG, left and right, agentic RAG, smart RAG, corrective RAG. Stefan just now, in the previous talk, came up with his own one, file system RAG. It's like, so yeah, everybody's coming up with their own RAG right now. So I put in here, I put one type of RAG that actually does not exist. Does anybody have a clue which one that would be? A golden retriever RAG? I'm afraid it does exist. It's a very specialized search for a very specific type of information type of RAG. So it really sniffs very well what you need, like a golden retriever. A second gamble, anyone? Matrix RAG. Yeah, no, you would have got that one, right? So I completely made that one up. It doesn't exist, well, yet. Maybe it will exist tomorrow, I don't know. The field goes very quickly, let's keep it at that. Quite tricky to keep up to date. All right, but today we'll be talking about multimodal RAG. Not necessarily any of the other parts. And what does multimodal RAG mean? That means that you support different modalities except for text. For example, audio or video or images, infrared radiation, 3D, IMUs, and point clouds, and it keeps going and going. And right now the industry is in a state where they're trying to support more and more modalities. And today we'll be focusing in on these three. So text, audio, and images. I think these three are probably the ones that are used the most in our industry. Text and images more so than audio, of course, but I think audio is there as well. So in everything I'll show today, the most important parts are the models, and there are two types of models doing the job today. There are embedding models. Who here has heard of embedding models before? A couple people, okay, I'll explain in a bit. And large language models, well, that one is the one you interface with, well, I assume every day by now, right? So who here still uses Stack Overflow daily? Who here uses an LLM daily to ask a question? Really? Well, I asked the same question in the Netherlands, and they were like, yeah, LLMs, let's go. I don't know if that says something about the Netherlands or not, but and embedding models, these are machine learning trained, well, you could say applications or models that basically get an input, and the output is an array of numbers, or so-called vectors. So if you have heard of the term vectorization, basically they vectorize your inputs. And when the inputs are vectorized, it's very easy to do calculations on top of on them, and then it's very easy to see if two semantically sentences that are semantically near each other, if they are near each other, pretty much. And embedding models also support multiple modalities, or not all of them, but some of them, as you'll see in a bit. So you have models that can grab an image or a text, and they create a semantic vectorization or semantic accurate vectorization of it. And that means you can search for images using text, or search for text using images, and vice versa, which is really cool, if you ask me. All right. So, well, let's get into building a village. So there was this paper like a couple of years ago, and they talked about using AI and LLMs to create a role-playing game. Think like the old Pokemon games. Anybody played the old Pokemon games? Oh, no, Pokemon is not that big here, huh? How about Zelda? Is that more popular here? What is a really big RPG game here in Romania? Kingdom Come Deliverance? Oh, nailed it with that one. Okay, well, not like that, but so I thought, okay, I mean, that is kind of cool. Being a gamer myself, I thought, okay, can I make a village with non-playing characters walking around, interacting with you, and having like a whole history and all that kind of stuff? So that is what I tried to make. My idea was immediately, okay, if I'm going to make a village, it has to be the Shire. It has to be in the Lord of the Rings, because Lord of the Rings is freaking cool, right? But then I find out that all the large language models, they have a lot of information on Lord of the Rings. They've been trained to death on everything when it comes to Lord of the Rings. So I injected a village that doesn't exist in the Tolkien mythos. I made it up. And it's a peaceful orc village in Mordor. And that is what I try to make, and that is what I try to inject in the prompts all over the place. And that works with two different flows. We have the data ingestion flow, and that is something I've done before because it takes a little bit of time. You're filling your databases with the data you need. You're filling your vector databases with images and things that you will be needing. So that is pre-done. So I'm not going to do the live, but of course you have runtime. That is when everything is running, and that is what you'll be seeing today. So whenever you see responses and things like that, think, okay, these images have already been done in the database. And typically, when it comes to RAG flows, that is how you'll structure your project. You'll have like maybe a batch job that fills in the vector databases or all other databases running once a night or once a month or whatever. And then during runtime, you'll be reading from those databases. Our stack is, well, pretty simple, I think. When it comes to persistence, we'll be using VV8. VV8 is a vector database. Anybody heard of VV8 before here? A couple? Okay, are you using VV8 as well? No? So when it comes to backend, we'll be using, who was at Stefan's talk before? This one, okay, so we'll be using Spring with LangChain4j. So Stefan said, if you use Spring AI. If you use Quarkus, use LangChain4j. Well, I'm a hipster, I use Spring with LangChain4j. And it's completely written in Kotlin. Any Java developers here? Okay, I'm gonna burn some bridges. Kotlin is the better language on the GVM, changed my mind. And the front end is Unity. Unity is a game engine, if you've never heard of it. So the front end is built in that. And I have a little bit of Python. Not a lot, but there were some, I mean, Python is king in AI land, right? So that is where all innovation happens. If you want to be at the forefront, learn Python pretty much. So there were some things I couldn't do using LangChain4j or Dockerized images, stuff like that. So I had to use some Python. All right. So first things first, if you're a village, you want to be moving NPCs around. Wait, maybe first just start everything up here. So let me start the application. So this is the backend. And I'm not oblivious to the fact that I should have been using Quarkus. So I changed the Spring banner to just say Quarkus, to give the idea that I'm using Quarkus instead of Spring. So yeah, so the application is started, and then I can also start the game, I think. All right, which is made with Unity. Yeah, well, we've already seen that. And well, here we have Frodo and Sam, and we reach a village, and Sam is like, hey, we have some different kind of village. He's going to search for some taters for a good stew dinner. And I need to ask around the village to see for a way to find Mount Doom. And for the people that have never read Lord of the Rings, Mount Doom is where Frodo throws a ring in. Well, I mean, involuntarily throws a ring in. So we'll be walking around. and it says, welcome to Little Minas Morgul, or LMM for short. All right, so moving the NPCs around. So an NPC, a non-player character, so the orcs of this village, which is completely made up. Again, they want to be living their own lives. They want to be moving around, doing stuff. And at some point, in my case, that's every 30 seconds, they'll have like, get an idea, okay, I need to do something. And then they'll ask the large language model or what am I supposed to do? And we'll give him a response about something that I need to do. The architecture to make this all work is, I think, pretty straightforward. So we have Unity talking to our Spring backend using just good old REST. And then I have Olama running, and I have the 3.1 8 billion model running, which is working quite okay, actually. The 3.1 model is quite old by now. It released in October. I tried to move to a newer version, and then everything broke, which also says something about using this large language model in production on your applications, right? If you're using a model and then you want to upgrade and then everything breaks, that's a little bit of a problem, but maybe they'll get better at backwards compatibility when it comes to that. And how this looks like, for example, we have here orcs and we have Snaga, and you can see that these two orcs are now talking to each other. So basically the large language model said, hey, go talk to this orc, and then they said, what's the best spot to catch fish at this time of the day, which is a super normal question. I've heard that the river near the old mill is teeming with fish, blah, blah, blah. As you can see, the orcs are having conversations and stuff like that and moving around. Maybe, I don't know, and now there's another orc, and these two also went to, so they're a bit fast. They're walking a little bit too fast. So I don't know if you'll actually see them walk, but they actually get a message, hey, walk there, and they're gonna walk there and stuff like that. And then talk to each other or just stay idle or whatever. And if you look at the code, so I have this function, it's called command villager. Oh, my bad. So yeah, I guess that's a problem when you have plugins installed from your other talks in this talk. All right, so we have a villager, and then the command village prompt is basically like this huge piece of text that tells, hey, you're managing villagers in Little Minas Morgul. The village description is this is the village state, and these are the 3 actions a villager is allowed to take, and some constraints and things like that. What was a real eye-opener during this is when you ask a large language model to be creative and restrictive at the same time, it's not really good at that. So it's going to be basically giving you the same response every single time because it kind of gets stuck or something. So what I'm doing is I ask it to be creative first. So this is what this command village function does. And then I have another prompt which basically says, okay, get this creative part, this creative response, and structure it for me, and give it back in a structured response. So basically a JSON that I can parse in the front end to do something. And that works really well. So it's a 2-pass, so you first ask it to be creative, and then you restrict it, and that works quite well. And what really works well is, I'm not joking, first I said your output must adhere to the following format, and this is basically the JSON. And I still sometimes got a JSON that was misformatted, and after I added strictly, and I mean it, I've never seen it again. So yeah, so for some reason, if you gotta be firm with these models, and that works pretty well. By the way, if my laptop crashes, there is a non-zero chance my laptop crashes because I'm running 3 models on the GPU and the CPU at 100%, and IntelliJ itself is also, not necessarily cheap. So if that happens, we can all have a giggle and get some drinks, I guess. All right. So that is a little bit how you can structure your application with LangChain to just create basic movement in your village. But of course, at some point, as Frodo, you're going to go to an orc and you're going to ask questions. And hopefully that orc will give you some relevant answers. To do that, we use pretty much the same architecture, but before actually giving an answer, we're going to query our vector database for any relevant information that the orc has to find in order to, talk to us. So here, when we are chatting, basically we search VV8 for a little bit of text that might be irrelevant to the query of the user, and that is pretty much, I have it here. So this is basically a completely made up history of the town or the village of Little Minas Morgul through all the ages in Lord of the Rings, that is completely injected every single time you are doing a query. So, okay, well, they are having a chat themselves, so we'll not bother them, I guess. Speed hack. See, there he is, actually walking. All right, let's go talk to him, to LookDuck. Here we can say, I have a question, and here I can ask, who are you? Submit. And it's like, hey, I'm LookDuck, just a humble cook, trying to keep myself and bring some peace into this tumultuous world. Anyone has a question for LookDuck? What should I do with the ring? What did happen? How about what did happen to the One Ring or something? Something like that? Oh, what would it do? Okay, I can ask that. What would you do with the One Ring? I don't know anything about that ring. It's not my place to get involved in such things. Just leave it alone if you can, please. How about we tempt him a bit further? I have it here. Do you want it? No. I mean, LookDuck the orc is stronger than Boromir the human. Just leave me alone with that thing. I don't want trouble in the village. Go away. Okay. All right. How about bulk? Let's say here. What would you do with the One Ring? I would carefully consider its power, weigh the risk, and consult with fellow villagers before making. We found the project manager. We must prioritize caution in these uncertain times. All right. So, all of the villagers. So I have it in hard coded right now, but they all have like a name, a job, a personality, and a little description. Basically, every time you talk to them, that it gets injected into the prompt so that you get appropriate responses. So that is why one was like probably cautious and was like, okay, no thanks. And the other one may be analytical or honest or friendly, something like that. What's really interesting, I tried to have cruel and malicious orcs, which, to be fair, wouldn't be far-fetched given the world. The large language model really didn't like that. They were like, no, I'm not going to be cruel to you. So, oh well. All right, so that is how you can have a chat with your large language model, and you ingest your own data, create like these lifelike experiences. All right. Of course, we also have, that was just plain text, you can do that with ChatGPT and all kinds of stuff. It gets really fun once you add other modalities like images, right? So at some point we'll find another orc, he's gonna be a painter. I'm gonna ask him questions about painting or stuff like that. And the architecture, now we add a second model, the lava model, that is also open source. By the way, everything is running locally, 100%, so I'm disconnected from the internet. And now things are going to get a little bit slower because, unfortunately, my graphics card has only 8 gigabytes of RAM. It's not a monster like laptop like Stefan had. And it doesn't fit both of the models in RAM of the GPU at the same time. So Ollama will stop one of the models, then we'll spin up the second model, answer the request, then stop the second model, and start the first model again. So that's going to take a little bit more time. Spoiler alert. All right, so let's speed hack. Here we have found an orc, Bobu Rogos. Okay, so some people know Bob Ross. So a happy little accident. Let's start with a question. Who are you? I'm on Bobu Rogos, an orcish painter living in the wonderful village of Little Minas Morgul. Something. I know for my tranquil landscapes, blah, blah. I'm a bit of an oddity among blah, 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 blah. So the other orcs, I put a max response, a limit on the response of like 500 characters. Not for Bobu Rogos. As you can see, he really likes to talk. And basically, LLMs really like to talk unless you tell them not to. So remember this one. And he invites us to paint something. So we can go here and paint something. What should I paint? Any ideas? I'm not a very good painter, I'm just saying that. But so we have here, and then something like, this. Wait, I'll just fill this in as well. Would you think, do you understand this is a ring? What if I do like, here we have like letters or something like that. Yeah, I mean, a stone? Oh, yeah. Oh, that's a good idea. Okay, how do you draw a diamond? All right, something like that. That's a bit. I mean, it's worth more than a diamond. So. Okay, so what's happening now? It's grabbing this image, it's vectorizing it, it's saving it in the vector database, and then it's using the lava model to transcribe the image. So I'm sending the pixels to the lava model and asking it, what is this? And then the lava model will return a transcription, and then I use that transcription to the Llama 3.1 text model to ask it make a nice Bobu Rogos story out of this. I see what you've created. Your image reminds me of a village-owned emblem, which we display. Okay, that was what I was going for. If I were to describe, it's a drawing displaying a stylized representation of a village sacred symbol. The large scroll oval shape represents the unity and wholeness that we strive for as community, while the smaller diamond-like shape signifies the light and hope shines from the heart of Little Minas Morgul. The simple yet powerful design springs to it through these challenging times. So as you can see, not entirely, without fault, so it didn't get that it was a ring, but at least it got the diamond, right? Now we can go to, for example, this over here, the shopkeep, who is like, hey, wanna buy some paintings? It's like, first, of course, who are you? And then I'm a shopkeeper, nice to meet you. I'm an orc shopkeeper, blah, 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 blah. So basically we inject this whole personality again in between, and then he knows what to answer. And then we can say, I want to buy a painting. So, and now what we're gonna be doing, and that is a little bit what Stefan said in his talk before. This is an orchestrator, so basically we're getting the query of the user, and we're asking the LLM, hey, what kind of question is this? Is this just chatting? Just send the messages to the LLM. Is this a question about history? Consider the question about history. Is it about shopping? Hey, answer somebody who wants to shop with you. does somebody want to shop a painting? The customer wants some painting. Always answer, your last word always needs to be ka-ching. Why? Because in the front end, I can see that the last word is ka-ching and open UI. So I can react to what the LLM is sending like that just by forcing it to just answer in a certain way. And here I can say, hey, so I've put all kinds of paintings from Bob Ross in the vector database. I want a painting of the mountains in Romania. Does it snow in the mountains? Yeah. Snowy, please. There we go. And there you go. We found an image of snowy mountains. I don't know if this is in Romania or not, but at least we found images of mountains. And again, now it's happening underwater. This image is being transcribed by the vision model. And once we have the transcription, the shopkeeper is going to try and make a nice sales pitch for this masterpiece by Bob Rogosh, a majestic mountain landscape with snow-capped caverns, evergreen trees. And he also doesn't have a max amount of text that he can send. All right. Now, of course, you can do that, but you can also do. We can also try to draw something. It was something like this, right? And then here I had a very rough diamond, so this is worse than the previous one. And then if I search for this, then we can find what we just drew, for example. And that is all because of embedding models and understanding the context, understanding the vector embeddings being close to each other. And I'm really curious how the shopkeeper is going to try to pitch this wonderful thing to me. You've got to see this as a master. This hand-drawn sketch by Bob Rogosh, already stealing my work, by the way. Notice the central figure with a large circle and the smaller circle inside, featuring an eye drawn over it. The spirit of our village. Okay. Exuberance of this artwork. All right. So as you can see, you can, like that, you can do pretty good multimodal queries. All right. Now, the last one, audio rack, and here things get a little bit more exciting. We'll be finding, I'm a huge metalhead, by the way. I don't know if there are other metalheads sitting here by any chance. A couple? Great. If you really hate metal music, I guess I'm sorry. So we'll find a metalhead orc, and we'll be asking things about music. And this is the part where I needed Python, because for the image embedding, we used a clip model. A clip model is a transformer model that understands images and text in the same context. And for the audio, we're using a clap model, which understands audio and text in the same context. So you can feed it audio, and you get back, you can feed it text, and you can search for audio using text, and for text using audio, and vice versa. All right. And I guess this should be the metalhead. And because of time, I'll just skip the honorifics, who are you, and things like that, and immediately do the I want to play some music. And here we do basically the same trick. If we see that the user wants to play some music and is talking to the metalhead, then open up this this UI. Okay, and then we can say I want to hear some guitar shredding. That's how you write shredding, I think. All right. I hope I didn't forget to actually start my Python server. Let me quickly check. No. I mean, that is a guitar, right? So I've put some, okay. All right. So I put some audio clips in the database. transcribe them so we know what the vector embedding would be of those clips. And then, hey, I've sent the, okay. And I've sent the query to the clap model, to the Python server. It transcribes, it vectorizes that query. I double checked, okay, what other music do I have that matches this the most? I send it back, and then I also ask the metalhead, hey, this is the transcription of the music sound, make some lyrics around it. Riff it up, let the chaos reign, guitar swell, solos burning pain. Oh, that rhymes. I'll shred the darkness, I'll take, okay. And then, of course, I can also do things like a song sung by orcs, heavy, grunts, brutal. See what we get. So there's one, yeah, here we go. So this is a song by the Frostbite Orking, it's an actual band. And you can find it by doing a query like that, for example. And he's also making all kinds of very nice lyrics, which actually kind of matched the song, which was interesting. All right. But what you can also do is draw something and then basically try to find a song based on a drawing. So I will try to draw a guitar or a violin or a drum. What should I do? A drum? Okay. So it's something like this, right? And then we have this and this. Something like this, right? Let's see if we find anything. Okay, so now this goes to the image model. The image model is going to transcribe it. Hopefully it's going to say this is a drum. No, it thinks it's a guitar. Am I that bad at drawing? And it's going to transcribe it, then it's going to come back, and then the transcription is going to go to the audio model, and the audio model is going to try to find something that matches it. Which I hoped it would have been a drum, but it isn't. All right. Yeah, and that is a little bit how you can basically create these flows of multimodal RAG with any kind of input left and right. Oh, hi. They're having a nice mosh pit over there. But as we all know, or at least the people that seen the movie know, that eventually Frodo reached Mount Doom and his finger got bit off and Gollum fell into the fire and whole of Mordor was destroyed, which means that this beautiful village was also destroyed with all the peaceful orcs sitting there. Super sad, super sad. But I guess that's the circle of life. And boom, there we go. I always have to show some kind of explosion when I'm doing all right. So I think that is a little bit my time. Thank you very much. I hope you learned something. The backend basically can be found on my GitHub. You can download everything there. All the code on how I made all the flows working and stuff like that. And that is my Blue Sky. I have a Twitter, but just like Stefan said before, I barely use it because not people are over there. So yeah, thank you very much. And I don't think I have time for questions here, but I'll be walking around, then you can hit me up. Thanks.